Okay, we're going to move on to the next big step in creating enemies that we can actually attack and will attack back. But I first need to explain the relationship between a parent blueprint and a child blueprint. So that'll be this video. If you already understand that or if you used it before, you can go ahead and skip this video, go on to the next one. If you don't know it or a little fuzzy on the details, then hopefully this will help you in one more step of understanding something that's going to help you out greatly with enemies and plenty of other blueprints. What it is basically, we created this TW enemy blueprint, at least in my game. That's a Tokyo Wonderland enemy blueprint. And what's important to note is that this character is never spawned in the game. You'll never actually see that, despite the fact that he looks like the Kendo guy. It's actually this one. This is the one we'll actually see in the game, the guy with the stick, everything here. I only have this mesh in just because it had the right socket names and everything. But this could be anything. This could look like anything. So TW enemy will never ever, you'll never see this in the game. What that is the parent blueprint, and this Kendo guy is the child blueprint. To set that up in the just a character blueprint here, and you just do a create blueprint based on this, and what you'll get is a child blueprint right there. As you see, TW enemy blueprint child. I'm going to go ahead and delete that as I don't need it. You can name it whatever you want to name it. Obviously I named it after the enemies that I'll be creating from them, so that's the Kendo blueprint here. And the reason why that helps is because 90% of the logic of my characters, a lot of things will contain the same thing. I want them all to find Alice. I want them all to get within a certain range of Alice, and then I want them to attack her. Rather than copying, pasting, and rewriting that code over and over and over again, you just base that off of them. And as you see, the event graph in this child blueprint is nearly empty, and it's because I don't have to rewrite this over and over again. All this stuff is still here. 90% of the brain was created in the parent, and I just have to kind of finalize it here in the child. And you can prove that while the inherited value of variables and all the stuff that's in there, the enemy health, their attacking strength, all that kind of stuff is here still. And obviously that's not just right here, so all this comes from the parent blueprint where all this was created. It's just really helpful. You don't have to rewrite code over and over again. They all work basically the same thing, same way. So you'll definitely want to work with all variables in your parent blueprint. That's a very important thing to do. It's a helpful thing to do, period, when working with blueprints. You'll hear that from people, but it's necessary when working in a parent blueprint. The enemy swing distance in the parent blueprint default is just 50, but as we'll see here, it's actually, for this character, it's 200. He has a sword. He can be within 200 Unreal units before he can swing at Alice. If he had, no sword and was just punching and kicking, that may be, 100. And if he had a bow and arrow, that may be 1,000. Even though it wouldn't technically be a swing, we still get the point. It's kind of an attack distance in a way. And to be able to change that per enemies, and they all are different, you just got to set that yourself. And we'll be setting these a little bit later, but as you see, you basically are just going to set all the things that you're going to change in the construction script, or at least that's where I do it. Things like he just gets within a certain distance, and then he calls a random attack, 0 through 4, which is really 1 through 5. And then you play whichever animation, and I just set all those in the construction script. So I can do this in different animations for different characters, and then I set the 5 Kendo attacks. He doesn't even have 5, so really 1, 3, and 5 are the same, and 2 and 4 are the same. But I have the freedom to do whatever I want by creating a parent blueprint that's flexible. And then from there, I just have to set small factors. It's really helpful, really powerful, we'll say. It speeds up things quite a bit. And that's the way I'll be working going forward with this. I'll show off one more thing before wrapping up this video. You can change things, obviously. You can rewrite code, you can overwrite code, things like this attack here. This attack, say I don't have enemies that want to attack Alice. They're super nice enemies. They don't actually want to hurt her. Well, in that case, what we can do is we can call this function. That's not the one we want. This one will just simply call back to this one, and it'll play this. And it's nice that we can do that anytime we want to in this parent script. So we can write something that then will call back to the parent script and go on to find a correct distance and go on to attacker. But in this, so you can call those, but in this case, what we're looking for is to override it. That's this event attack, and this one's red, so this is the main one, and the blue ones can be created as many times as you want. They call back to it. And say we have someone who doesn't actually want to attack Alice, just simply wants to say hello. Well, we can do that in this child blueprint, and we can test it out here once I pull this off screen so I can actually play it. And I'm super slow here, sorry. There we go. And once this guy gets within a certain range, rather than attacking Alice, he's instead just going to simply say hello to her. And that's obviously overriding the script that was created before. Right there in the top left corner, you'll see that hello. So it's really cool that you're able to overwrite your script, so you're not stuck in it. And then, for instance, say you wanted then to actually do exactly what you have written here. This attack Alice. You wanted to say hello first, then you actually want to attack her. Well, in that case, you can't just call in that blue one that I showed off earlier, the attack Alice, because it's just going to call this over and over again. But what you have is the add call to parent function. And just like that, we now can change something before the script that we wrote and then still have the ability to call it later. So now we have enemies who will find a certain distance to Alice, come up to her, say hello, and then try and bash her brains in. That'll do it for this video. And then we'll be able to move on now to actually writing in our parent scripts. Thank you.